Yes, students of class Earth. Today we are going to discuss about the fourth chapter of civics, the Union Executive. So first of all, it is compulsory to know the meaning of executive. Executive is the organ of the government which enforces the laws made by the legislature and runs the administration of the country. The Union Executive consists including the president, the vice president, the prime minister, uh, and the council of ministers. Parliamentary system. The constitution set up parliamentary government both at the center and at the state also. Under this system, there exists a clear distinction between the nominal head, nominal executive, and real executive. So, the nominal executive is the president who is the head of states. The real executive is the council of ministers headed by the prime minister. Thereafter, the president of India. The president is the head of the state of the first and the first citizen of the country. It means that the president is also known as the first citizen of the country. The constitution confers extensive powers on the of the president. But before uh, before knowing about the powers of the president, we have to know the qualifications of the president. So, in order to be elected president, a candidate must have the same qualification as a member of the Lok Sabha. Whatever in previous chapter you have already studied about the qualifications of the member of Lok Sabha. However, she must be at least 35 years of age. But there is one difference, that there the minimum age for the membership of Lok Sabha is 25 years, and here to be the president of India the minimum age is not less than 35 years. Elections. How the president is elected? The president is elected by an electoral college consisting of the elected members of the Rajya Sabha and the Vidhan Sabha of the states. Terms of his office. The president of India normally elected for 5 years. It means that the terms of the office of the president is 5 years. His term of office can in no case be extended. His office can fall vacant under the following conditions: if he was died, and in that case, when his office fall vacant after the death of the president, then the vice president immediately takes over the charge of takes over as the president. Elections for a new president must be held within 6 months, and thereafter the vice president vacant the post of the president and being the vice president again. Resignation. A president may resign from his post at any time. And impeachment. The president can be impeached only for violation of the constitution. Both the houses in both the houses of the parliament, The members will bring impeachment, and thereafter he must have to vacate his post. Pay and allowance. The president of the Indian Federation gets a monthly pay of 1,50,000 per month. Besides, he gets such facilities and allowance as may be decided by the parliament from time to time. Powers of the president. The president has vested administrative, military, diplomatic, legislative, financial, judicial, and emergency power. All these powers are vested in the president. The president administrative power. The president has the power to select the prime minister, but the election is restricted to the leader of the party in majority in the House of the People. The president also appoints other ministers on the advice of the prime minister. All top level officials of the union government are appointed by the president and can be removed by him. The president also appoints the judges of the Supreme Court and High Court. He also controls the administration of the union territories directly. Thereafter, military powers. The president is the supreme commander of the armed forces in the country. Diplomatic power. The President of India represents India in international forum and sends and receives ambassadors. All the international treaties and agreements are concluded in his name. Legislative power. A bill passed by both the houses of the parliament goes to the president for his approval and signatures in token of his assent. The president may, if he is not satisfied, send back the bill after making his suggestion to the parliament. When it goes to the president for second time, it is obligatory on the part of the president to give assent. On the advice of the prime minister, the president can dissolve the parliament. If the parliament is not in session and needs arises, the president can on his own make laws which becomes effective immediately. Such laws are known as ordinance. Thereafter, financial power. Our president has been given vast financial powers also by our constitution. He causes the annual budget and the supplementary budget to be laid before the parliament. No money bill can be introduced in the parliament without his prior assent. Thereafter, judicial power. The president has been given a number of powers in the judicial sphere. He is not answerable before any court of law for the discharge of his duties. He can commute even death sentence to imprisonment for life or otherwise. Thereafter, emergency powers. Thereafter, emergency powers. The president also has important emergency powers to deal with any kind of abnormal situation. If the security of our country is threatened by a war or armed rebellion, the president can declare a state of emergency for the whole of or for any of its parts. Secondly, if the governance of a state cannot be carried on in accordance with the provisions of the constitution, The president can take over the entire work of the executive and suspend the state assembly. This is called the president rule in the state. And the third emergency power is that if the president thinks that the financial stability of the country is threatened, she can declare a financial emergency. After the president, after the vice president here. The constitution also provides for a vice president for the Republic of India. The vice president of India is also the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Qualifications of the vice president is that a candidate to the office of the vice president of India must possess the same qualifications as are essential for the office of the president. It means that whatever the qualifications required for the post of president, all the same qualifications are applied for the post of the vice president of India. Moreover, he should be qualified to be elected to the Rajya Sabha. Term The term of his office is also 5 years. It may end earlier either by resignation in writing addressed to the president or by impeachment. The vice president may be removed by a resolution of the Rajya Sabha passed by a majority of its members and agreed to by a majority. Now the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. The Prime Minister is the head of the majority or the coalition party and the leader of the Lok Sabha. Prime Minister is also the real head of the Union Executive. The President appoints the Council of Ministers on the advice of the Prime Minister. The ministers in the council must be members of the parliament. If they are not, they must get elected to the parliament within the 6 months after being the ministers in the government. The Council of Ministers has 3 rank of ministers: cabinet minister, deputy minister and ministers of states. The cabinet ministers occupy the highest rank and have independent charge of the most important ministries. Ministers of states may assist cabinet ministers or be in charge of separate ministries, and deputy ministers help cabinet ministers and the ministers of states. Thereafter, eligibilities to be the ministers. A person must be a member of either the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. He will be capable to appoint. He will be capable for the appointment of a minister. A person who is not a member can be appointed for 6 months, but then he or she has to obtain membership of any house of the parliament during this time. Individual and collective responsibilities. Each minister is individually responsible for his ministry and department. This responsibility is enforced through the Prime Minister. The Council of Ministers is collectively responsible and accountable to the Lok Sabha. If the Lok Sabha passes the vote of no confidence, then the entire Council of Ministers, including the Prime Minister, has to resign. Civil services servants. Besides the Union Executive, the civil servants play important role in the working of the government departments other than the armed forces. The civil servants perform the day-to-day administrative tasks of the government. The UPSC or the Union Public Service Commission is the special body that recruits the civil servants for the Central Civil Services, which is headed by the Cabinet Secretary. Thereafter, accountability. India being a democratic country, the people's representatives called ministers are accountable for each of their actions and decisions. This is one reason why every issue concerning people is discussed, scrutinized, and debated in the parliament. This is essential for the democratic functioning of the government. During the last 6 decades of democratic rule in the country, many people have been questioning the quality and relevance of the type of representative democracy in India. But the fact that we are in the position to ask questions is itself a clear proof that democracy has been successful and is thriving in our country. Thank you. Your civics portion is also completed.